But the best game of the week, I don't think there's any question about it, Jason, is the battle for Bismarck. Bismarck High taking on their arch rivals
Great one this
from
year.
Century. We're going to hear from both head coaches coming up now, starting with the Patriots frontman, Ron Wingenbach. And Ron, you've got some really good play out of your sophomore quarterback, Dalton Feedy. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, Dalton's really a multi-dimensional type quarterback. Anytime you have like a three or actually a four-sport athlete at the helm, it really helps in terms of athleticism, decision-making, and so on. And he's really had to grow up, playing freshman football last year with some JV mixed in there, and then to jump into the fire as a sophomore and lead the team right now to a 5-0 start, that speaks volumes of him.
So, Coach, have you had any surprise players or unsung heroes on this team so far?
Well, when we came into the season, we had some question marks on our offensive and defensive lines, not necessarily in terms of bodies. We knew we had some depth at those positions, but who would kind of come to the top, so to speak. And I look at our offensive line, and I look at Michael Dukart, Christian Walter, Tanner Krefting, Michael Shear, those four names, as well as our center, Brady Wills. I think I've penciled them in every game, starting at their respective positions. And on the defensive side, we had a young man, Tanner Wolf, a senior defensive back that's really kind of come into his own this year. Make no bones about it, he's just gotten faster. And it's really been a big plus for us because it's allowed one of our other defensive backs to kind of play our outside linebacker free safety position combo that we have, and he's just provided a big spark for us. I think some of those individuals that I've just named have really kind of spurred us a little bit. And then on the offensive side, Hunter Babick at our tailback position, Kyle Landon Yiltum, and the young Rudolph kid at the split end positions have kind of solidified us out there. So I think if we can continue to develop some of those other individuals, we're a very senior-led team, and so we're looking for underclassmen to continue to push and provide depth as we head into the latter aspects of October.
All right, and finally, Ron, what do you guys feel like you need to do to match up with Bismarck on Friday?
Well, as soon as you turn on the film, there's about 5 to 7 all-staters that jump out at you, and that's usually the case, and it's certainly, again, the case this year. I think their strength is their offensive and defensive lines. They just got some real athletic, tall individuals that can run and block and do the things that Coach Gibson likes them to do. And then you put the speedy tailback back there, and he kind of mirrors our tailback in terms of size, and he's got good hips, and he's just hard to bring down. And so you throw that in, and then it always helps to have your son at the quarterback position. He's kind of, I'm sure, like another coach on the field, understands the game plan 100%. So, they're just very, very solid defensively, offensively, and special teams, just like they've been in the past.
Thanks to Coach Wingenbach for being on with us. And now we bring on the Demons head coach, Mark Gibson. Now, Mark, your team had a lot of unknowns coming into the season. Even you've said that. And they've evolved quite a bit throughout the season. How has your team gotten better?
We each week we got a little better in different areas. And, I thought we took some major steps back when we played South. And granted, South's a very good football team. They've got 2 good running backs that we didn't tackle very well. But I thought as a whole we kind of took some steps backwards. And from a week ago to the Mandan game, I thought we took some major strides back in the right direction. So that's all you can ask for as a coach. And we don't look at the big picture right now. We just look week to week, and certainly we got our hands full this week.
All right, we've got to talk about your offensive line. Obviously a strength for your team, but what exactly have they meant to your team's success this season?
If we're going to hang our hat on something we knew going the season, that would be it. And those kids handle just about every front that they've seen. And our kids have to kind of think on the run a little bit, and I think they do a good job of that. And a lot of it's in-game adjustments, what we do. And, I think with the maturity that we've got up front, that was one thing that we knew that we'd be able to handle. And so we've had years where we've had all the skill kids back and started over the offensive line, but this year it's kind of the opposite of that. We had no skill kids back, and we've got core of our linemen are back, and Jaden Freet, he's a darn good one. He's been like a 3-year starter for us, and so he's kind of our cornerstone up front, and you could say the same for Zach Scalzo, and Jordan Rao was our center last year. We moved him to guard, and so those 3 kids have done very well for us, and we hope to continue through the season.
So what do you guys have to do to stop Century on Friday?
Well, I think the big thing is we got to tackle. And that's the one thing that you can scheme, you can plot, you can do all these different things, but you got to be able to tackle, and you got to be able to wrap up. And they've got some kids that the Babbitt kid is doing a heck of a job for him running the football, and the Feeney kid does a nice job when he wants to run too. And so those are 2 kids we've got to gang tackle. We got to get a lot of hats to there. And I think the one thing is. We got to try and keep everything in front of us. We can't let they're going to get big plays, and when they get the big play, we can't hang our heads and bounce back and keep moving on. And I think it's going to be a game that's going to be played at a feverish pitch for 4 quarters, and you have to be able to handle that. And so those are things that we saw some of that at South, and like I said, I think offensively we handled that pretty well, and defensively that was our big concern. And so. We're excited to play the game, and I'm sure they are too. And so, I think the one thing is, in a game like this, it's going to be field position, and it's going to be turnovers. And those are things that we have to be able to try to control ourselves. And if we can, great. And if not, then we'll be in trouble.
What I think about this game is we're going to have a battle between a great offensive line in Bismarck and really a good passing game and an evolution of really good offense by Century, which I didn't think was there. And actually, their defense has played better to this point so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those teams that there was a lot of question marks coming in because of some of the guys that they lost from last year's team. But I for one have been wrong on them, and they've answered the call several times. So
we're going to talk more about this in the pick section.
Varsity Sports Now, presented by Shields.